Sometimes, life feels like an endless series of setbacks. Like the dreams God placed within you are slipping further and further away. But here's the truth. God's timing is always perfect, and His plans for you are far greater than anything you could imagine. What feels like a delay is often God's way of preparing you for something extraordinary. He's not holding you back. He's setting you up for a new chapter that will be worth the wait. In today's message, we're diving into the powerful signs that God is saying, this new chapter will be the best one yet. The heartaches, the disappointments, and even the seasons of silence, they're all part of a divine setup. God is aligning every piece of the puzzle, and He's about to reveal how all things are working together for your good. If you've been feeling weary, stuck, or uncertain about what's next, let this video be your confirmation. God has not forgotten you. He's preparing to open doors you never expected and bless you in ways you never thought possible. I'm also going to pray a powerful prayer with you in the mighty name of Jesus. So watch until the end and open your hearts to receive the blessings of this prayer. So, if you're ready to step into this new chapter with faith and boldness, hit that like button and comment, I'm stepping into my best chapter yet. Let's dive into this message together and discover how God is about to take your story to a whole new level. First and foremost, let me ask you this. What if the silence you're experiencing right now is not a void, but a canvas? A canvas where God is quietly painting the most breathtaking picture of your life. This silence is not random, nor is it a sign of abandonment. It's something deeper, something sacred. It's alive with purpose, and if you lean in closely, you'll sense it. A whisper that speaks louder than words. Wait, I am working. Think about this. Silence can be uncomfortable, even unsettling. We're so used to noise, to movement, to action, that stillness feels like stagnation. But God doesn't waste anything. This silence isn't punishment, it's preparation. Like a gardener who plants seeds in soil and lets them rest beneath the surface, God is working beneath the surface of your life. You may not see it, but the roots are taking hold. This is your season of rooting, of unseen growth. He's not just growing your circumstances, He's growing you. What does this look like in your life? Maybe it's that calmness you can't explain when everything around you seems chaotic. Maybe it's a peace that doesn't make sense, or a sudden clarity about what really matters. These aren't coincidences, they are breadcrumbs from heaven, divine hints that God is orchestrating something greater. He is teaching you to trust Him, not only in the action, but in the waiting. Habakkuk 2:3 tells us, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time. It will surely come, it will not delay." That silence you feel is God aligning the pieces of His promise to the perfect moment. Just as an artist steps back to view their painting, God is stepping back to ensure every stroke of your story aligns with His divine will. Think about the Bible's greatest moments. They were often preceded by silence. The Israelites wandering in the wilderness before entering the Promised Land. Jesus spending 40 days in the desert before His ministry began. Even the 3 days between the cross and the resurrection. These moments weren't the end. They were the threshold of something miraculous. God uses silence to prepare us for His glory, and here's the beautiful truth. Silence refines. In these moments, God shapes your heart. He teaches you to listen, to discern His voice, and to trust His timing. It's in the stillness that you realize He is your anchor, not the circumstances around you. This quiet season is God's way of saying, I'm not done with you. I'm just getting started. You might wonder why it feels so still, so quiet. But let me assure you, this is not emptiness. This is God building, shaping, and equipping you. The silence is alive with His presence, His purpose, His love. Stay in this moment with Him. The best chapters of your life often begin in the quietest places. Next time a door closes in your life, think about how it makes you feel. Sometimes a closed door can sting sharply, but then the pain fades faster than expected. Strange, isn't it? That's not coincidence. It's your spirit recognizing something bigger at work. Deep down, you sense it's not rejection, it's redirection. It's God, gently guiding you towards something greater, something He has perfectly prepared for you. Let's take a moment to reflect on why closed doors might feel oddly comforting. Imagine standing before a door you've been pushing against with all your might. You've knocked, pleaded, and prayed, hoping it would open. But it doesn't budge. Frustration builds, and you start wondering what's wrong. Then, as you step back, you notice another door, one you didn't see before, wide open, shining with possibility. Suddenly, everything makes sense. That's what God does. He closes what needs to be closed, so you don't miss the open doors He's designed for you. Revelation 3:8 says, "I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut." Those words aren't just poetic, they're a promise. When God opens a door, it's yours. No circumstances, no failures, no opposition can take it away. But here's the catch. We often fixate on the wrong doors. We chase opportunities that seem good on the surface, but aren't aligned with God's perfect plan. And when those doors close, it can feel like a dead end, until we realize it's God protecting us from what wasn't meant to be. Think back to a time when you desperately wanted something, a job, a relationship, an opportunity, and it didn't work out. Maybe it felt crushing at first, but over time, as the sting faded, you saw things differently. Perhaps that job would have drained you. Maybe that relationship wasn't as healthy as it seemed, or that opportunity, as exciting as it looked, wasn't the best use of your gifts. Now, can you see how God was saving you from settling for less? God doesn't just slam doors shut and leave you standing in the hallway. No, He always has a greater plan in motion. Often, when one door closes, another opens. Sometimes immediately, sometimes after a season of waiting. That waiting isn't wasted, though. It's a time of preparation. God is aligning everything, your heart, your skills, your circumstances, to step into something better. Here's how it manifests. You look back at what you thought you couldn't live without, and it doesn't even appeal to you anymore. Opportunities you chased now seem small, while new possibilities emerge with crystal clarity. That's God's whisper, saying, "Wait, I have something better." His no to one thing is always a yes to something infinitely more fulfilling. Closed doors also teach us trust. They remind us that we don't have to force our way through life. When God is in control, you don't have to strive or struggle to make things happen. You can rest in the assurance that He's already prepared a path for you. And when you step through the doors He opens, you'll find yourself in places you couldn't have dreamed of, doing things you never thought possible. So the next time a door closes, take a breath. Resist the urge to panic or force it open. Instead, ask, what is God protecting me from? What is He guiding me toward? Then watch as He reveals His plan, step by step, in ways that exceed anything you could have imagined. Remember, God's closed doors are never about keeping you out. They're about leading you in to His best for your life. Moreover, there's a type of restlessness that doesn't drain you. It awakens you. It's not the unease of fear or worry. It's a deep stirring, an anticipation that something extraordinary is about to unfold. You feel it in your spirit, like the gentle tug of a current drawing you forward. This is not random. It's God planting hope, quietly whispering to your heart, "I am doing a new thing." You might recognize this restlessness as the moments when your ordinary routines start feeling too small for the dreams rising within you. The familiar comfort of your current situation no longer satisfies. Like a seed pressing against the soil, yearning for sunlight, you feel an urgency to break through, to grow, to expand into the person God created you to be. This restlessness is not here to frustrate you. It's here to prepare you. Think about Isaiah 43:19, where God declares, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it?" This verse is a reminder that what you're feeling isn't random. It's a divine signal. Something new is already growing within you, even if you can't see it clearly yet. That restlessness is the soil of your heart shifting, making room for the seeds of God's promises to take root and flourish. You might find yourself dreaming again, bigger and bolder than before. Perhaps ideas that once seemed impossible now feel within reach. These thoughts don't come by accident. They are sparks igniting your spirit, calling you to trust in the God who has plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. This restlessness may feel uncomfortable, but it's not meant to discourage you. It's a sacred discomfort, a divine nudge that tells you you're on the brink of something significant. It's as if your soul knows there's more to your story, and it refuses to let you settle for anything less. You might feel an unshakable pull toward change, even without knowing the full picture. That's okay. Faith isn't about seeing every detail. It's about trusting the one who does. When God stirs restlessness in your heart, it's because He's moving behind the scenes, aligning opportunities, shaping circumstances, and readying you for a new chapter, one that's richer, deeper, and more fulfilling than you could imagine. This restlessness doesn't mean you're lost. It means you're being found. It's God's way of calling you higher, asking you to step out of the boat and walk on water, even when the waves feel uncertain. It's His reminder that you are made for more, not in a way that glorifies ambition, but in a way that glorifies Him. So lean into that restlessness. Don't dismiss it or run from it. Let it awaken your hope, rekindle your faith, and remind you that God is not done with your story. Furthermore, there's a unique feeling that arises in moments of stillness, one that almost defies explanation, an overwhelming weight of gratitude. It's as if your heart knows something your eyes haven't yet seen. It's not tied to a specific outcome, nor is it dependent on a breakthrough already in your hands. This is a deep, spiritual knowing, a quiet assurance that God is preparing something extraordinary, something tailor-made for you. You may feel this gratitude during the simplest moments. Picture yourself sitting in a quiet room as sunlight streams through the window, illuminating every speck of dust floating in the air. That light seems to speak of God's faithfulness, His provision, and His never-ending presence. Tears well up in your eyes, and you can't quite explain why. It's just sunlight after all. But it feels like a message directly from heaven, a reminder that His goodness surrounds you even now. Perhaps it comes when someone offers you an encouraging word, a simple, sincere affirmation that lands so deeply in your spirit it feels like a divine whisper. It's as if God Himself used that moment to remind you that you're seen, loved, and cared for. And in that second, gratitude overtakes you, not just for what is, but for what's to come. It's as though your soul recognizes that the seeds of tomorrow's blessings are already being planted today. This gratitude doesn't need grand events or visible changes. It often stirs in the most mundane circumstances, while washing dishes, during a walk outside, or as you hold a loved one close. These moments feel infused with something eternal, a glimpse of the peace and joy God has in store. It's as if your spirit is aligning with heaven's timeline, preparing you to receive all He has promised. Gratitude in these moments isn't just a passive feeling, it's an active declaration. When you thank God in advance for blessings not yet seen, you're expressing faith in His character. You're saying, "Lord, I trust that what you've planned is better than what I can imagine. I trust that your timing is perfect, even when I don't understand it." David understood this deeply when he declared in Psalm 34:1, "I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise will always be on my lips." Notice the choice in his words, at all times. Not just when the breakthrough is visible, not just when the answers are clear, but always. This is the heart posture God is cultivating in you, a faith so unshakable that it praises Him before the blessing arrives. Gratitude like this reshapes your perspective. It teaches you to see God's fingerprints in every detail, to trust that even the waiting season is part of His perfect design. It's a reminder that His blessings often come disguised in the ordinary, preparing your heart to hold the extraordinary. You might wonder why this overwhelming gratitude comes before the breakthrough. The answer lies in God's intention to prepare your soul. Gratitude shifts your focus from worry to worship, from fear to faith. It aligns your heart with His timing and His plans, ensuring that when the blessing arrives, you're ready to embrace it fully. So when you feel this weight of gratitude, don't dismiss it. Lean into it. Recognize it as a sign that God is at work behind the scenes. It's His way of saying, I'm doing something new in your life. Trust me. This chapter will be the best one yet. Let this gratitude anchor your soul, because it's not just a fleeting feeling. It's a divine promise being whispered to your heart. Additionally, there are moments in life when what we thought was gone forever begins to stir again. You've been there, staring at the ashes of a dream that seemed burned out, wondering why you even dared to hope in the first place. It's in that space, where your heart feels hollow and your hands empty, that God moves in ways you could never expect. When God speaks life into something you've counted as lost, it's like a spring rain on parched ground. Ezekiel 37:5 says, I will make breath enter you, and you will come to life. Think about that. Breath filling lifeless places, causing what was dry, brittle, and broken to stand up again with purpose. That's the kind of renewal only God can bring. He doesn't just restore, He reimagines. He doesn't just give back, He multiplies. Imagine a dream you shelved long ago, one that you buried under the weight of practicality or disappointment. You might have told yourself, that season is over, and moved on. But God doesn't forget the seeds He planted in your heart. What if He's been watering them quietly, out of sight, waiting for the right time for them to sprout? Suddenly, you feel it, a passion reigniting. An opportunity appears that aligns so perfectly with what you once hoped for, it's as if it's been custom-made for you. That's not coincidence, that's providence. Or consider a relationship you thought was beyond repair. Maybe years have passed, filled with silence or misunderstanding. Then, out of nowhere, you hear from that person. A message, a phone call, a moment of reconciliation. It's as if time folds in on itself, and what was broken is made whole. God specializes in resurrecting what seems beyond redemption. He doesn't just reconnect. He restores with a depth that makes the bond even stronger than before. These moments of renewal are not accidents. They're evidence that God is always working, even in the quiet, unseen places. What you thought was a dead end was really just a detour, designed to prepare you for what's next. He allows certain things to pause, not to punish you, but to shape you. Those seasons of waiting, of letting go, teach us to trust Him, to release our tight grip on how we think life should go. When the return happens, when that dream, that relationship, that opportunity finds its way back into your life, it's often better than you ever imagined. Why? Because God's timing is perfect. He knows when you're ready to handle what's been restored. He knows how to equip you to steward it well this time. What you lost wasn't wasted. It was simply being refined. In these moments, you realize that God doesn't just bring things back to life. He makes them new. A forgotten passion reignites with fresh clarity and direction. A relationship heals, stronger and more authentic than before. What once felt like the end now feels like a new beginning, and you see God's fingerprints all over it. So if you're in that place where something feels lost, don't lose hope. What seems finished is often just paused in the hands of a God who breathes life into dry bones. Stay open. Keep trusting. The story isn't over yet. It's also worth noting that life doesn't always follow the script we write for ourselves. We dream, we plan, and we map out our steps, only to find the road shifting beneath our feet. It can feel unsettling, even unfair. But here's the truth. When God redirects your path, it's not to harm you. It's to position you for something far greater than you imagined. Think about those moments that felt like interruptions. A sudden job loss, an opportunity slipping through your fingers, or even a relationship ending when you thought it was the one. Those moments aren't random. They're often divine interventions. Proverbs 16:9 beautifully captures this. In their hearts, humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. You see, God doesn't just allow these detours, He designs them with purpose. Picture this. You're on a train, heading toward a destination you've been longing to reach. Suddenly the train stops. and the conductor announces a change of route. At first, you feel frustrated. Why now? Why me? But as the journey continues, you begin to notice the breathtaking landscapes you would have missed otherwise. That's exactly what God's interruptions are like. They might derail your plans momentarily, but they place you on a path with views you couldn't have dreamed up on your own. Consider the story of Joseph in the Bible. His life was full of divine interruptions, betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, and imprisoned unjustly. But each of these detours brought him closer to God's purpose for his life. What looked like setbacks were actually setups for him to save an entire nation. In the same way, what feels like a loss in your life may be God's way of clearing the clutter to make room for his masterpiece. Maybe you've recently faced a closed door. A job you were banking on didn't come through. A project you poured your heart into didn't succeed. Or perhaps you're navigating an unexpected move or an unplanned season of waiting. It's easy to feel defeated. But what if this isn't the end of the story? What if this is God redirecting your steps to something better? When God interrupts, it's rarely comfortable, but it's always intentional. He sees the bigger picture, the relationships you'll build, the opportunities you'll embrace, and the growth you'll experience. He's not in the business of leaving you empty-handed. He's in the business of filling your life with meaning and purpose, often in ways you couldn't foresee. Think of a gardener pruning a plant. At first glance, cutting away branches might seem harsh, even destructive. But the gardener knows that pruning allows for healthier growth and a more abundant harvest. In the same way, God's interruptions may feel like losses, but they are His way of pruning you for a season of flourishing. So, if you're feeling lost or unsure of what's next, know this. God's redirection isn't random. It's not a punishment. It's His loving hand guiding you to a chapter that surpasses your imagination. Trust Him with the detours, because those are often where the most beautiful stories unfold. We should also remember that one of the clearest signs God is opening a powerful new chapter in your life is when your heart begins to crave His presence more than anything else. It's no longer about what you're asking Him to do. It's about who He is. This is a pivotal moment, one that shifts the way you see your faith, your prayers, and even your future. Why? Because when you yearn for God Himself, you're aligning your heart with His, and that's where transformation begins. Think about David's cry in Psalm 42:1. As the deer pants for streams of water, so my soul pants for you, my God. Picture that deer. It's not just thirsty, it's desperate, longing for the water that sustains its very life. That's the kind of longing God stirs in your spirit when He's preparing you for something extraordinary. He's drawing you closer to Him, teaching you to seek not just His hand, but His heart. And that's where the greatest blessings are found, not in what He gives, but in who He is. How does this craving for God manifest in your life? You'll notice your prayers take on a new depth. It's not about saying the right words or sticking to a routine. It's about pouring out your heart, raw and real, in His presence. You find yourself talking to Him like a trusted friend, someone who knows you completely and loves you without condition. Worship, too, begins to feel more personal. The songs aren't just melodies. They're expressions of your soul's deepest desire to be near Him. And then there's the Word. Suddenly the Bible feels alive. It speaks to you in ways it never has before, offering guidance, comfort, and the reassurance that He's walking with you every step of the way. This longing isn't something you can manufacture on your own. It's a work of the Holy Spirit, drawing you closer to God because He knows that's where you'll find the strength, peace, and direction you need for the next chapter. And isn't it amazing how God does that? Instead of focusing on the what-ifs of the future, He shifts your attention to the only thing that truly matters, Him. He's preparing you for a blessing, yes, but more importantly, He's preparing your heart to trust Him completely, to follow wherever He leads. This deeper craving for God is His way of reminding you that He is enough. When you feel overwhelmed by uncertainty, when the path ahead seems unclear, let that longing for His presence guide you. He's not just the destination, He's the journey, the constant companion who promises to never leave you or forsake you. And as you draw closer to Him, something incredible happens. The fear begins to fade, replaced by a peace that doesn't make sense to the world, but makes perfect sense to your spirit. So if you find yourself in a season where your heart is aching for more of God, take heart. That's His invitation to trust Him like never before. He's drawing you closer for a reason, preparing you not just for the next chapter, but for a life that's fully surrendered to Him. And in that surrender, you'll discover a joy, a peace, and a purpose that can't be found anywhere else. Keep seeking Him, and let that craving remind you that He's not just working on the blessing, He's working on you. And that's the most beautiful work of all. Let's us pray. Heavenly Father, I come before you with all that I am, my burdens, my joys, my failings, and my hopes. I kneel in your presence, humbled by your greatness and in awe of your infinite love. You are the creator of all things, the author of life itself, and the one who holds the pen to write each chapter of my journey. Today, I surrender my story to you, trusting that this new chapter will be the best one yet, because you are in control. Lord, I pour out my soul before you. I have carried weights too heavy for my frail heart to bear. My fears, my doubts, and my shortcomings have clouded my vision. I confess that I have stumbled. I have fallen short of your glory, and I have at times let despair overshadow my faith. Forgive me, Father, for the times I have doubted your plan, questioned your timing, and failed to live in the fullness of your promises. Cleanse me of my sins, Lord, and purify my heart. Wash me in your grace and renew my spirit, for only you can make me whole again. God, I lay my troubles at your feet. You know the cries of my heart, the silent tears I've shed when no one else was watching. You know the battles I've faced and the wounds I carry. Lord, I bring them all to you now. My fears, my failures, my relationships, my finances, my health, and my uncertainties about the future. I surrender it all, trusting that your hands can transform what feels broken into something beautiful. Father, as I step into this new chapter, I ask for your guidance. Illuminate my path with your divine light. Open doors that no one can shut, and close doors that are not meant for me. Grant me wisdom to make decisions that align with your will, and give me strength to persevere when the journey feels hard. Lord, help me to walk boldly in faith, knowing that your plans for me are good. Plans to prosper me, not to harm me. Plans to give me hope and a future. God, I thank you for the promise that this new chapter will be the best one yet. I cling to your words with all my heart. You are the God of new beginnings, the one who turns ashes into beauty, mourning into dancing, and sorrow into joy. I believe that you are doing a new thing in my life, that you are making a way in the wilderness and streams in the desert. Fill me with expectancy, Lord, and help me to see your hand at work in every moment. Lord, I pray not only for myself, but for all those around me. Heal the brokenhearted, comfort the lonely, and provide for those in need. Use me as a vessel of your love, that I may be a light to others and a testament to your goodness. Teach me to love as you love, to forgive as you forgive, and to serve with a heart full of compassion. Finally, God, I praise you for who you are. You are my rock, my fortress, my deliverer, and my ever-present help in times of trouble. You are the God who never leaves nor forsakes, the one whose love is unending and whose mercies are new every morning. Thank you for your faithfulness, Lord, and for never giving up on me. I entrust this new chapter to you, Lord, believing with all my heart that you are writing a story of redemption, hope, and victory. I will walk forward in faith, holding on to the truth that with you, all things are possible. In Jesus' mighty name, I pray. Amen. My friends, before we close, I need you to hear this. Delays are not denials. They're divine alignments. If this resonates with you, I want you to type Amen in the comments as a declaration of your faith in God's timing. Let it be your way of saying, Lord, I trust you. Even when I can't see it, I know you're working. Some of you have been asking, God, why does it feel like everything is on hold? Why does it feel like the promises you gave me are so far away? But let me remind you, God's delays are never wasted. He's not withholding the blessing. He's building you for it. Sometimes He has to slow you down because He's aligning the right people, the right opportunities, and the right timing to bring His perfect plan to pass in your life. The waiting isn't punishment, it's preparation. It's where God refines your character, strengthens your endurance, and teaches you to trust Him, not just for the outcome, but in the process. Because when the breakthrough comes, and my friend, it will come, you'll be ready to walk in it with confidence and humility. You'll know it wasn't by your strength, but by His grace that you've been positioned for such a time as this. So if you're in a season of waiting right now, hold on. God is not ignoring you. He's working behind the scenes in ways you can't even imagine. He's preparing to open doors that no one can shut, to bring opportunities that no one can block, and to fulfill promises that only He can make good on. But don't grow weary while you wait. Trust that His timing is perfect. Trust that His plan is better than anything you could dream up on your own. If this message has spoken to you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Like this video, subscribe to this channel for more encouragement, and let's continue walking this journey of faith together. Remember, this chapter of waiting is not the end of your story. It's the setup for the greatest breakthrough of your life. God is saying to you right now, hold on, my child. The best is yet to come. What I'm about to release in your life will far exceed anything you've been praying for.